G'day, this is Captainoob, and this is the Russian Special Forces weapon mod. In this weapon mod, you can get two weapons. One of them is the AM-17 or B-17, depending on how you customize it, and the GSH-18 pistol. So you get a rifleman commando type weapon and a pistol, which is used by the gunslinger. You can't actually make this automatic, unfortunately. The customization options does vary, but generally this is a lot more customizable than this. So let's get into it. So firstly, you've got the receivers here as per usual, and you've got the sort of the basic receivers that you'll already find on most of the vanilla weapons in the game in terms of its design. But the one thing that sets this apart is it's actually got powerful piercing automatic receivers and advanced automatic receivers, giving you an extra boost of fire rate, which is awesome, and 205 damage as I'm spec'd out right now, which is a lot of punch for a weapon of this type. So that's very nice, especially since we're playing on big boy very hard difficulty, which will incur a 50% damage penalty. But there is obviously semi-auto variants of this for people who are using the rifleman class and would like to maybe conserve ammo a little bit more. Not much of a problem here. You will get a slightly higher damage per shot at the cost of a bit of rate of fire. The DPS differences are quite noticeable if you've used them side by side. Anyway, so you've got sights here, aim points. A lot of sights going on here. Some of them are mounted higher and lower, so depending on how you'd like to set out your weapon, I guess. There's not much to really talk about here. It's all very self-explanatory. If you'd like to get yourself this weapon mod and experiment with these sights yourself, I would highly recommend downloading. And I checked this time, this one's definitely on Xbox One, so the console players, except for the PS4 people, can enjoy this one too. So we'll go for the basket here. For our semi-auto one, we'll probably go for the EOTech there, and there's a couple of scoops. I actually don't recommend using these iron sights because they're terribly constrictive, and the way the weapon's recoil animations works, you can't really see what you're shooting at if you're firing this thing full auto. So yes, that should be noted, and I'll just scroll through the rest of the sights so you can just see them. Whole lot of sight customization. Now, this is the part where you can change this thing into an B-17, which I believe it just stuffs an AS Val barrel there. It gives you a suppressor, so you get the bonus of Ace Operator, which gives it 256 damage, which is awesome. Also down chambers it down to 10mm. Obviously the 9x39 is the bullets that the AS Val would be using, but that's so awesome. I love the look and the design of the AS Val and its barrel, and it's nice to see it here. So we'll do that on our semi-auto one. We'll just leave this firing the 5.56 NATO round. We can chuck on a laser sight if we want. Now this is why you'd probably want to have one of those raised sights. If you want to chuck a laser sight on, you want your sight bumped up so it's not as constricting when you're looking through it. So we could probably do with a raised basket at this point, but the damage is done. I'm not removing it now, we're too far gone. And you can chuck a suppressor on. There's no muzzle brake or any attachment unlike many other weapon mods. Thanks, Lily, appreciated. And you can chuck a vertical grip on this. Very nice. We'll go for a stubby grip, like the Battlefield 4 one. It'll increase or decrease our spread increase during automatic fire. That's not actually what it does. You can chuck on a laser sight here on the side if you don't have a particularly raised sight. That you can actually chuck on two laser sights at once, or you can chuck on a flashlight if you don't like using the, I guess, unimmersive Pip-Boy light. What you can do is just chuck on the flashlight and use that. It's a whole lot cooler running around with a flashlight on the end of your gun if you've got a Dark Nights mod where there's a bunch of ghouls ready to jump out at you. That's cool stuff. Iden does a lot of videos like that where he's going around and he's got all these regrowth mods on, and it's awesome. But I'm getting off track here. Let's get the train back on the rails. So the way to tell which one is the most superior, other than like the damage stat, there's a couple of standard things here, which is kind of interesting. The custom receiver gives us the best attachment bonuses, and what I like about this is it actually tells you exactly what's going to happen. So you're going to get plus 50% multiplicative damage and minus 40% spread and 20% rate of fire and a decent critical shot damage bonus too. If you wanted to go full criticals, there's a calibrated receiver for plus 100% and a little bit of rep and spread decreases. Heavy is there if you've got slightly less skill in the old gun nut perk. But yeah, you will go through those and have a look at those if you'd like, then you go ahead. Now, weirdly, the comfort grip, it slashes out damage in half, and what I think it's done here is, there's no comfort grip thing, it's just it's just shoved the receiver in this, so we'll leave the comfort grip off, and we can have a quick eject mag to speed up that reload animation, and we can have some glow sights, and you can have different skins on this, which is interesting. I guess it means that the glow sights look different. It has... Okay, maybe I'm missing some skins, or that's something they'll release early or later on. But yeah, this thing is a little bit more unfinished than the rifle. The rifle seems to be the main flagship of this weapon mod, and this seems to be just something on the side. But content's content, and indeed it is, with new custom animations and everything too. Did I mention that? Because it's there. Alright, let's go. Okay, so here we are in the standard Gunners Plaza, and this is what the AM-17 looks like in first person. And we're being obstructed by the laser sight, so I probably should have chucked on a raised reflex sight, but that's okay. This is Lily, by the way. She's named after Lily Allen and Jeremy Clarkson. Lily Clarkson, after my two favourite British people. And as you can tell with the AM-17, you actually hold the foregrip in first person and third person alike, which is good attention to detail. Not a lot of mod authors have bothered in the past, although that was kind of early modding back when I used to make note of that. So, you know, modding has advanced a little bit since I've been gone. This is the GSH-18. It's got some really cool animation sets. I feel like it was copied straight from the deliverer because it gave you that little legendary preview thing when you added it to your inventory, or at least when I added it to my inventory with good old console commands. This is the AM B-17. It's got the barrel there, the Spetsnaz ASVL looking barrel. Also semi-auto receiver and slightly better range accuracy thanks to the scope that I've put on, which I feel like zooms in a little bit more than our basket sight. And this one has no suppressor. The muzzle has got nothing on it, and we've got another the foregrip there. So the loud and proud solution to when things get a little bit heated. But for now, we'll keep this as subtle as possible with the AM-17 with a suppressor on it. Don't know what that gunner was screaming about. Maybe she stubbed her toe on the way out, and honestly, it happens to everyone. Now, I'm noticing with this weapon, its recoil patterns are kind of bizarre because it kind of pulls down. I guess that might just be the aim model altered by the suppressor. Like, the first bullet seems to pull the muzzle down, then it just goes side to side like crazy. It's not a very easy recoil pattern to decipher here, but we seem to be doing okay. And if the recoil pattern is too much, or you know, that's pulling too much, we can just burst fire this thing. There's the reload animation in first person, by the way. Let's switch viewpoints and mow this guy down with a bit of hip fire. Thank you, steady hands. And the reload animation in third person is like that. Let's switch over to the pistol for the next few kills, because although this thing is fairly basic and doesn't have a whole lot going on with it, I still think it's a decent weapon to go along with it. It's a nice little supplement. There's the reload animation, sped up by the quick eject mag, and of course, quick hands. Very, very useful perk for use in the heat of battle. We'll keep on going, and note the hipfire recoil animations. It's actually kind of awesome. Yeah, they've come a long way since the first little modifications have made to deliver animations back in the day. So yeah, there's heaps of cool stuff that I need to come back to with Fallout 4 modding, but very impressed with this lot so far. So this is the one with the ASVL looking barrel and the semi-auto receiver. So we'll just kind of zero into the head, I guess, and make some use out of this superior damage per shot. Yep, that seems to work. Got no idea what I'm shooting at because the recoil animations sort of push the thing around in your way. Unfortunately, as far as I know, there's no like TV scopes. They're all kind of see-through, which means you have to deal with the recoil animation in third person like this when you're shooting, which, you know, although I feel like it'd be a whole lot more realistic to have you shutter back like that after firing a bullet, because, you know, the recoil of the weapon would be giving you, you know, a kick to the shoulder. Some might find a little bit nauseating, but in terms of realism, you know, if you know, like damage output, maybe not, but animations and look and feel of this thing, it feels great to use. And the best thing is, it's out for console players. Console players can use this too. Links in the description if you're that interested, by the way, to get that out of the way. But yeah, pretty damn decent rifle here, and I do enjoy the fact that it does have the advanced automatic receivers, so it doesn't feel like this thing will lag behind in a high difficulty setting, like very hard is. It's bullet sponge hell, but not as bad as Fallout 76. Alright, let's do this classic stealth commando style. I think Swan just killed a bunch of deer over there, so, we'll get him before the Wendigos get him. Not like the Fallout 76 Wendigos, the ones with deer heads, the ones that the Native American people would probably be mad at me for talking about. But because if you talk about them, it draws them near you, but, I ain't seen no Wendigos yet. Maybe they're not in Australia. Ha! They can't swim, probably. They gotta get over a lot of water. Swan's dead, by the way. Yeah, that was easy. Let us move on. Good job, Lily. So, what does Lily do? What's her role in Captain's Angels? Well, she's the robotics expert, so, it feels fitting for her to take on a giant, spooky robot. There's Ahab. He's a guy from the Automatron DLC, and this is a masterclass in weapon range here. As he gets closer, we'll get slowly more and more damage, but now we're in danger. He's also got this weird quirk. He's got this fire hydrant stick that goes through the ground. Oh yeah, we're going for your fusion cores, mate. Nice. That was at almost 1200 damage, despite us not having a sneak critical there. Just keep on spamming those crits, I guess. Get a little bit of VATS gameplay out of this, I suppose. Although it's fairly slow spamming criticals. That's the worst part about it. If you were doing a YOLO run, you probably won't want to spam criticals all the time because it just leaves you standing there. Well, of course, VATS defense is a thing, but do you not have any ammo? You can punch me, but what good does that do, my friend? Let's get the pistol back out again, because why not? You'll notice how it's got a slightly higher rate of fire than the rifle we were using before, so potentially against lower level dudes, it's a better pick because you only need a few more bullets to kill them. But what we can do with this thing is regenerate all of the criticals that we've used. Not exactly the epic fight I was expecting because he seems to be... Hey, maybe it's troubleshooter's armor, even though I'm wearing none, but I can explain that I am. So, I'm just up for the fight. Righto. Now that we've got a full AP bar and an automatic weapon ready to go, that feels a lot faster. And we get another scrapper haul there, so we get all of our bullets back. That's a helpful perk. Alright, AP's back, which means it's time for another VATS round. Yeah, there's a reason why I don't fight this guy. I think that he does have bullets, but they're not infinite, so he'll spawn in and he'll use all of his bullets on random NPCs or whatever ammo he has. He's punching a little bit harder now, but you've got these giant guns on you, mate. You ought to use them, but maybe he doesn't know that. Switch back over to my suppressed one because I get slightly higher damage out of it. For it is a suppressed weapon. Just find your fusion cores again. There we go, 581. Thank you, Ace Operator. Goodbye, weirdo robot with, I don't know, fire hydrant boner. Who wouldn't want to have one of those? Anyways, let's move on to the next thing. Alrighty, let's take on these bears. Now, as far as I know, they haven't cloned themselves, so this should be a straightforward fight, as long as they don't get too close to me. So let's go ahead and just take out the bears. What I want to do is clear out all of the little baby bears so we can focus all of our fire on the big one. I'll go for a critical here because we've got that reaction shot from his crippled face. Doesn't look like the plan has worked all that well. Perhaps should have used the higher DPS commando variant of this. Another thing that I've got installed is a mod that actually lets the Yaoguai use their little savaging kill animation in normal combat. It doesn't kill you, it just ragdolls you for a little bit, which leaves you open for attacking again. So, it makes the bears a little bit more scary other than, being giant, tanky, staggering assholes that they usually are in the base game. But, assign these guys a threat and they're more interesting to fight than other things. Righto, let's do this a little bit with VATS. There we go, consistent headshots on that guy, didn't like it. Another thing that's kind of weird about the Yale guys is that, see, he just savaged me. And immediately died. That's what's supposed to happen. And he also immediately died. Righto. I don't know why that happened or why the trigger was held down. Maybe... Well, that might be a bug of the mod's creation. The bears, unless Lily just slipped in a cyanide pill into their gobs whilst they were chomping on her neck there. I don't know, maybe. Anything's possible, but I think you get the point. That was the AM, or AM B-17, as well as the GSH-18, and I would highly recommend this. Like I said before, this thing is available for both console and PC, but not PS4. You've chosen the wrong console, so you don't get this stuff. Choose better next time, and there may not be a next time, depending on how much Microsoft wants to exclusivize Fallout. And hopefully they do, because PS4s suck, and so will PS5s, and you'll need to understand this. And that guy is out of range. I am done with this weapon mod. Highly recommend it. Link in the description. Thank you very much for watching, guys.